The latest. Thank you for your love and support. Are all in all, the Savior, the Protector, the Unifier, the Messiah, the King of Kings, the most loved, Captain Ibrahim Traore, is always giving us every reason for us to be proud of. We know that in Africa, politics has become an avenue for people to enrich themselves. And that is the reason to which anybody at all that will come into the political arena with an empty pocket, within 3 months, when you see them, you will never make them up. If you see their belly, it's something that will marvel you. Because they have turned the state into a business that they are making profit from. Captain Ibrahim Traore, we know, came into office, and according to him, he is there to safeguard the country. The democratic elected ones have not done anything rather than to enrich themselves. And that was why he took power from Paul Henry Damiba, who also came into office claiming he came to safeguard the people from these democratic elected ones, but ended up eating and dining with France, because the things that he said were the reasons to which he came into office. These things were still happening, and he was still eating and dining and worshipping the oppressor. Captain Ibrahim Traore, all in all, the Savior, the Protector, has declared his asset and asked all his government officials to all declare their asset. Whenever these people come into office, they are the first people they think about increasing their salary. Captain Ibrahim Traore, all in all, decided not to increase his salary, to still maintain what he's having, because he's proving to these people that he's not in office to enrich himself, as other people have taken politics and power to be. Even though they disagree, these people in different party colors will disagree and make noise on every issue. But whenever it comes to the increment of their salaries, and the people who are working tirelessly day in, day out to make sure that the nation move ahead, these ones are the ones they always give 3%, but the politicians will give themselves 70, 75, 50. But the people who are working and paying everything, including their utility bills, are the ones that these people don't see the need to increase their salary for them to have a better life. But Captain Ibrahim Traore is doing the opposite. He is doing everything possible to make sure that the citizens that are working day in, day out to make sure Burkina Faso move forward, they are the ones he's increasing their salaries.
Burkina Faso President Ibrahim Traore declares his assets. He is worth $128,566, making him one of the poorest leader in modern history. Burkina Faso's 37-year-old president Ibrahim Traore has declared his total net worth. Traore declares that he is worth $128,566. He has instructed everyone serving in his government to declare their assets by March 2025, adding that failure to which will attract speedy prosecution. He has warned that whoever makes false declaration to appear rich will be punished, warning that he won't entertain corruption. And Traore has rejected his salary increment, saying he will continue to get paid what was due to him as a soldier before he took over government in Burkina Faso. However, Traore has also banned all those serving in government from doing any business with the state. He says the move is aimed at curbing corruption. Ibrahim Traore is a name that has quickly risen in African political conversations. At just 37 years old, he is one of the youngest heads of state in the world. Born in Bonakui, Burkina Faso, Traore was a military officer before leading a coup in 2022 that ousted interim president Paul Henry Damiba. While coups are often criticized, Traore's rise came at a time of increasing public discontent with security, corruption, and economic stagnation. Unlike many military leaders who assume power, Traore presented himself not as a dictator in the making, but as a transition figure focused on restoring order and putting Burkina Faso on a new trajectory. His speeches have often emphasized patriotism, sovereignty, and public service, and he has repeatedly stated that his role is not about power, but purpose. In a region plagued by instability and external interference, Traore has become a symbol of resistance for some and a controversial figure for others. Nonetheless, his leadership style has so far been characterized by bold decisions, and his latest move to declare his personal wealth publicly only strengthens his image as a man of the people. On March 24, 2025, Traore released a full declaration of his personal assets, valuing his total net worth at just $128,566. In a world where political leaders are often accused, rightly or wrongly, of embezzling public funds, this level of financial modesty is nearly unheard of. More impressively, he tied his personal declaration to an executive directive. All government officials were required to declare their own assets by the close of business that day. This declaration is not merely symbolic, it sets a clear tone for the kind of governance Traore wants to instill, one rooted in transparency, humility, and responsibility. It's a stark contrast to the luxurious lifestyles often associated with heads of state, many of whom live behind golden gates while their citizens struggle to meet basic needs. The public response was mixed. While many celebrated the move as historic, others questioned the accuracy or wondered if this was a political strategy. But whatever the interpretation, the fact remains. No other leader in Burkina Faso's recent history has made such a declaration with this level of openness. President Traore didn't stop at just declaring his assets. He implemented a series of strict anti-corruption measures designed to reshape the entire political culture in Burkina Faso. First, he warned that any official who failed to declare their assets would face speedy prosecution. This indicates that the government is not only promoting transparency, but is prepared to enforce it through legal channels. In addition, he banned all public officials from engaging in business with the state. This is a huge move, one that eliminates a major source of backdoor deals, inflated contracts, and conflict of interest scenarios that are rampant in many governments across Africa and beyond. It's a clear message. Public service should not be used as a shortcut to personal wealth. To top it off, Traore declined a proposed salary increase, insisting that he would continue to receive the same pay he earned as a soldier before taking office. That gesture alone speaks volumes, particularly to the everyday citizens of Burkina Faso, many of whom live below the poverty line. It signals empathy, shared struggle, and a rejection of elite privilege. The news of President Traore's declaration quickly went viral, both within Burkina Faso and across African media networks. On social media platforms like Twitter and Facebook, citizens hailed him as a true servant of the people. Hashtags like #Ibrahim Traore and #Africa Fights Corruption began trending, as users compared him favorably to other African leaders perceived as corrupt or out of touch. Internationally, the Western media took a cautious but respectful tone. Outlets like Al Jazeera, BBC, and France 24 reported on the declaration as an unusual step, noting how rare it is for any head of state globally to reveal their net worth with such modesty. While some analysts questioned whether the move was political theater, others praised it as a bold act of political will. In civil society, transparency advocates and NGOs across Africa praised Traore's leadership as a potential model for others. Could this be the beginning of a new wave of responsible leadership in Africa? That's the question now being asked in boardrooms and backrooms across the continent. To understand the weight of this moment, it's important to look at history. Many African leaders have been accused, some proven, some alleged, of amassing fortunes while in office. From Mobutu Sese Seko of Zaire, who was worth billions, to more recent controversies involving Jacob Zuma in South Africa, the perception of African leadership has long been tainted by the shadow of corruption. The contrast between these figures and Traore is dramatic. Declaring a net worth that's less than the price of a luxury car is not just modest, it's disruptive. It challenges the status quo and sets a new precedent. It forces a question onto the table. Should wealth and politics ever mix? By rejecting the lifestyle of excess and power, Traore is positioning himself not just as a national leader, but as a reformer in a region hungry for change. Of course, these bold actions do not come without risks. Traore's war on corruption may earn him enemies within the government, the military, or among powerful business elites. History shows that reformers often face backlash, from both within and outside their borders. Moreover, implementing anti-corruption policies is only the beginning. Enforcement will be key. Investigating false declarations, prosecuting offenders, and maintaining transparency will require a strong, independent judiciary and a robust civil society. Any inconsistency or favoritism could damage the credibility Traore is building. Still, by publicly declaring his assets and rejecting personal gain, Traore is showing that leadership doesn't have to be about greed. It can be about purpose, service, and legacy. Ibrahim Traore's leadership could very well become a case study in political science classes around the world, not just because he declared his assets, but because of what that declaration represents: a new moral compass for African governance. If leaders across the continent adopt similar policies, real transparency, bans on self-dealing, and genuine salary reform, the impact could be transformational. Corruption bleeds billions from African economies every year. Eradicating even a fraction of that could fund education, healthcare, and infrastructure at levels never before seen. The road ahead for Burkina Faso will be challenging, but with this kind of leadership at the helm, there's a growing sense of hope that perhaps the time has come for Africa not only to stand, but to rise.
Even though they are in the front line, they are doing everything possible to save the lives of Burkina Faso, but Captain Ibrahim Traore still don't see the reason to which he should increase his salary. You know, these Western medias, they will always find something negative about it because they don't understand. They have never seen anything of this sort in Africa, and even we ourselves haven't seen anything of this sort happening in Africa, because these ones always come and all they do best is to talk, and at the end of the day they just give them 3 months and you get to know the kind of leaders that they are. They are all in the same clothing. None of them is doing everything possible to move the state ahead. So when these people heard this thing, they have to find another means to make it look bad. You know, everything good in Africa, people have to always have something to say negatively about it. And even the analysts in Africa that always analyze African issues, some of them are still working for the oppressor. So when things come out like this, they'll find every reason to target or to say something bad about it. Like these people are saying, it could be a political move. I don't know, political move for what? Is it that he's contesting for elections and he needs the vote of the people, and that is the reason to which he's doing this, so that the people will vote for him, or what? The people decided to give him the mantle. They are looking at the good things that he's doing. Those who claim that they have done everything possible that the oppressor is always praising, what at all have they got to show to their people? This Western organizations and Western medias will never talk about the corrupt African leaders who are doing everything possible in their power to loot the nation, because whatsoever these corrupt leaders are doing are in the interest of the oppressor. So for that reason, they find every reason to keep praising them. We love you, we cherish you, are all in all. Captain Ibrahim Traore, may the ancestors continue to protect and give you all the strength and the wisdom to do more. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world, in Africa, West Africa, and in Burkina Faso.